Okay, so I set my phone down. Now I have to find it, unfortunately. What did I do with it? There's a lot of places I to put it. I think I would just put it in front of me. Give me 1 second. Okay, so back to playing some Yi Xian. Um, okay, so we're gonna be playing Yi Xian, like I said. We're gonna be playing the character Tan Shuyan. This is her portrait. We're gonna be doing a Paint Eater deck. What it does is it converts Chi into life, HP to be specific. One of the reasons why we're going to use this character is, I guess she has like some of the perfect stuff that goes along with it. Let's start off with this study hard. So when you start the game, you'll be in the meditation phase, and you'll have this ability, which is for every 8 cards you absorb, you'll draw a card, which is good. It works for our build. It works for most builds. Whenever you turn in your 9 cards or absorb 9 cards, you'll have enough cultivation points to move into to do a breakthrough and then go into the foundation phase. In the foundation phase, one of the things you can get, and this is what I'll choose, is only traces. Only traces. It just provides chi, 3 chi, and as a post action, it'll chase. As a post action, that just means that after the first time it triggers, every other time this card is triggered in the round, that it'll chase, meaning it'll play itself and then it'll play the next card in line before it gives it to your opponent's turn. Okay. This birdie wind is part of the virtuoso phase, but the way that we play, we're not going to stay in this phase for very long, so we're going to stay in this phase over here, the foundation phase. When you get to 21 cultivation, you can go into the virtuoso phase. We're going to stay in the foundation phase. When it gets to 36, you can transfer into the immortality phase. So what we're going to do when we get to 36, we'll still be in this foundation phase. We're going to click over and go into virtuoso phase, and then we're going to click again, and that'll bring us to immortality phase. So that means that we're basically going to skip over this virtuoso phase. But let's talk about the bonus. The bonus is add 1 defense for every time your HP changes. So every time they hit you or you gain life or whatever, you're going to gain 1 defense, but it's only 1. So just take note that you're not getting like a bunch of defense for that happening. You're just getting 1 per round. And sure, it's a little bit of help, but it really isn't a whole lot of help. So if there's a better choice than that, we'll take it. Avatar of the Birdshade. This is this is what basically lets us stay alive 1 extra round. What I mean by that is, when you start and you were playing ranked and you play round robin, you'll have 100 destiny points, and that destiny points determines how long you're going to be playing. When you go to like 0 destiny points, you are out of the game. So anything less than 1, you're out. So if if you're at 20 and they hit you for minus 25 destiny points, you're below 0, you're out. Or you're 0 or below, you're out. Avatar of the Birdshade says, basically, when you reach below 1, you're out of the game, but it'll bring you back into the game at 1 destiny point. So it'll give you 1 final round. It's kind of cool. Maybe 1 more battle, maybe a few more battles. Just depends on how many times that you can continue to play without losing at 1. So Avatar of the Birdshade's like a get out of jail free card. It's kind of how I look at it. And also, you'll draw another only traces. which means you'll have one from here, which means you could upgrade it. By upgrading it, you'll go to chase instead of having this post-action chase. Okay, the last one, cut off the main Dane. So just so you know that every round, so every phase in Monday, like we start in the meditation phase, and we go to foundation phase, and then virtuoso phase, and then immortality phase. Each phase you'll get cards specifically to that phase and every phase before it. It's kind of a random draw. People on the Discord call it a roll. So you'll roll up cards. So by the time you get into, let's say, the immortality phase, you are getting immortality cards, you're getting virtuoso cards, you're getting foundation cards, and you're getting meditation cards. Well, when you get into incarnation cards, the gold cards, the best cards of the game, you'll also normally be getting cards from every phase, but this one says you will no longer be getting cards from the foundation phase. I mean the meditation phase, the first phase. It'll get rid of them. So that's it. That's her action. It gives you an extra 3 exchanges. Certainly not that big of a deal. Pretty self-explanatory. Let's go to the cards. She's of the hip taster sect, of the hip taster pavilion. The big thing about her is with those actions that she has, we're doing like I said, a paint eater build. So we're converting chi into life. So we'll look at the cards that we want. Cards that have chi on there. So white crane, bright wings, dotted around, and wind hexagram are cards we would consider. In this, out of those 3, probably white crane's the best because it goes up to 3 chi. It scales. The others only scale to 2. See, like 1 chi, 2 chi, and it doesn't go better higher. This defense isn't bad. This 2, 3, and 4, and star power 1, 2, and 3. We might work on a star power deck later, but for this, it's not really a big deal. We've got hexagram 1 and 2, chi 1 and 2. Not that great. So those are the cards we're interested in. We're only going to be in this phase for pretty much 2 rounds, and only 1 round we're actually going to use cards because we're going to jump into the foundation phase as soon as possible. So you'll see. We don't really have a whole lot of choices. All right, foundation phase. We need stillness, Kritar, Draimar. I just call it stillness. We need as many of those as we can get. We're in the foundation phase specifically to find that card. I mean, we've got to be in that phase anyway, but we're going to park in that phase past 21 cultivation and into 36 cultivation just to get that card. Okay, so the other thing we're going to look at, like I said, we need ways to make chi. So this flower sentinel, 1 chi, 2 chi, 3 chi, which is good. Defense 1, 2, and 3, not bad. This internal injury was pretty good because we had to come up with a way to kill our opponent and gain life. Imposing, which I really like. 2 chi, 3 chi, and 4 chi. And we've got 6 life, 9 life, and 12 life, but that doesn't trigger till it does this post-action thing. This one, Astral Move Stand, is good because it does 1 chi, 2 chi, 3 chi, and it also does an attack. So that's another card we might consider. And Golden Rooster so that we can get the weakness. We have the possibility of giving them 2 stacks of weakness. The other thing we might think about is this hexagram so that we can get this chicken to work. This is an okay, hexagram card. Okay, so let's go into the next phase. Next phase, which we're skipping, but we'll get some cards from it. This Chi Therapy is good to give us life. Revitalization, give us a way to kill them by every time we change our HP, we'll be able to do more damage with this card, and it stacks, so it's pretty good. And then let's see, Lake Hexagram scales 2, 3, and then 4 chi, and also has hexagram, which is cool. This one we'll only be doing it for the chi, the 2, the 3, the 4 chi. Eddie, friends for everyone, hexagram for, but we won't have a whole lot of hexagram, so that's really not going to do us a whole lot of good. Let's look at the next set of cards. Okay, in this set of cards, in the immortality phase, there's only really 2 cards we're interested in. Well, 3 cards. Okay, so the first thing is Escape Plan, which is going to give us defense, HP, and it can give us, guard up, which will negate 1 attack. We're also looking at this Extremely Suspicious. That'll give us some internal injury to give them, a way to kill them. Astral Move Tiger is pretty good because there's another way to give them weakness. Astral Move Tiger is something that's really pretty good for what we're building. Let's go into the last phase. If we find a lot of hexagram, we might be doing this Heaven hexagram. But what we really want is Strike Twice, Great Spirit, and maybe Fortuitous Omen to help us get a bunch of chi for the Fortuitous Omen to give us life. If we get it all the way up, I mean, that's like amazing. It's a lot of life in that card. Great Spirit is a way to increase our max and also give us life. Strike Twice will help us get that stillness used multiple times. So let's go ahead and talk about the side jobs. We'll do this one because it has the debuff thing. Exorcist Elixir will have, we'll just keep it maybe. This isn't bad, but with that consumption thing, we don't really get to use them very often. They're kind of dangerous because our stillness is a continuous. You're only allowed, 2, be it consumptions and continuous. You can mix them up however you want to, but you're only allowed 2 in your deck. So kind of figure out which ones we want. So a lot of these we don't get to use. Let's go down here. What we really want is Ice Spirit Guard Elixir, because that's how we'll get some guard up. The reason why we're looking at all this guard up and weakness and debuff, the guard and weakness helps us against decks that hit hard, like a lot of attacks or a single hard attack. We're looking at debuff in case we come across another deck that does poison. So let's go ahead and get right into it and start playing this battle. Let's start.